We're going to make it happen. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Fearless Morning Show. Good morning, Cree. How you doing? Well, we're having confessions and conversations about your everyday life. Good morning, Tiffany. My name is Yamitra Jojo Waddell, the only Live Past Crazy specialist. So what better place to be than here with me? Please make sure you share the show because sharing is caring. If your friends and family don't have Facebook, send them over to the YouTube channel. They can binge watch the Fearless Morning Show over there. Make sure they subscribe to the Fearless Morning Show over there, as well as the podcast. Make sure they subscribe to that. We're on 14 different platforms. We have all the books. We have all the things, honey. And if they don't want to listen, tell them I said it's going to be the most amazing day ever. I found it. Good morning, Joshua. Good morning, Miss Lowe. Good morning. Let me move this here so I can see it. So I can see. So, y'all, yesterday, good morning, Miss Rivera. Good morning. Yesterday, I spent the day, and this is for those who are attending Sister Rise Retreat. I spent the day outlining a workbook for you guys. And when I tell you I'm excited, I'm excited. There's your link. I have 8 tickets left for the Sister Rise Retreat. The price will go up after my birthday, which is in how many days? Today's the 3rd, 26 days. My birthday is in 26 days. Miss Rivera has a birthday coming up. Is it this week? I think she said hers is the 1st of June, like the first week of June. So I think we should have a birthday party for her too. So please make sure that you grab your ticket for that. So on this great day, it's going to be the most amazing day ever. Hope you guys are ready to get this day started. Okay, if you have questions about Sister Rise, let me know. And I can tell you if you're a good fit for that or not. June 8th. You sound like Tiffany with the whoop whoop. That's her favorite thing to say. So she has a birthday coming up. Happy birthday to you, my sister. I know it's going to be the most of. You should go get you the birthday princess crown with the birthday princess sash. Yeah, and you should do that. We'll sing happy birthday to you on your birthday. Good morning, Miss Lori. So y'all, yesterday we talked about hold hands with strangers, right? And we talked about that we are all connected. And the quote was, I imagine the reason people cling to their hate so stubbornly is because they sense once hate is gone, they will be forced to deal with the pain. And that's by James Baldwin. Today, I want to read you the quote. All too often, and I found this morning, I loved it. All too often, our so-called strength comes from fear, not love. Instead of having a strong back, many of us have a defended front shield, a weakened spine. In other words, we walk around brittle and defenseless, trying to conceal our lack of confidence. Sometimes we call ourselves strong because we're afraid. The source comes from fear. We're not really strong. We are afraid. And we're not saying I'm strong out of love. We're saying it out of fear. And then we defend our weak spine, meaning we defend why we don't do what we need to do. And that makes us brittle, which means easy to break, and defensive. You get mad and angry about the thing. And you're only doing it because you're trying to conceal your lack of confidence. I love that quote. Well, this is an excerpt from a book that and that's by Roshai Halifax. How many of us say that we're strong when we're really afraid? We're not doing it out of love, and we lack confidence, and we are defensive about what we're about to do. Been there and done that. I'm not saying that we won't have fear. Fear is there. It's going to come along. But there is, why do we always have to be strong? Why can't I say, I need help with this? This is something I'm learning. The more I have to give is the more I have to receive. I've got to learn to receive well. And in my receiving well is me saying, I need help with this. Someone show me the way for this. Someone help me understand this. What's the next steps? What is my journey? Because the answer is there. We've got to be aware of it, right? But I can't be aware of it if I'm defensive and thinking I always have to be strong. It's okay to be vulnerable for a moment to say, I don't know. I don't understand. Help me. All too often, our so-called strength comes from fear and not love. Instead of having a strong back, we defend our weak spine. We defend our limitations. We defend what is not serving us. And then we find ourselves in a circle of crazy and chaos that doesn't work. So let's talk about, which leads me to the thought of the day. And often, well, I had the thought first before I found the quote, but sometimes they just happen to match up. So the thought of the day, we're talking about being a misfit. So confessions and conversations, and I know I've talked about this before. Being a misfit, I just did not fit in anywhere. I don't think people really understand. And somebody said, well, JoJo, I didn't hang out like you hung out, like with people. I didn't fit in with any group of friends. Like there was no spot. There was no place in high school, middle school, college that I really fit into. I adapted and changed for the people I was with at that moment. In high school, when I was on the track team, I was the athlete. When I was in the classroom, I was the nerd. When I was trying to hang out with the cool kids, and I was so far from being cool, I think they felt sorry for me and let me hang out with them. And then I didn't get to really hang. I was on the back end level of the cool kids looking over. Which brings me to the second thought of the day. Sometimes we're outside looking in. So I didn't fit in. I was a true misfit. I didn't understand me. I didn't understand the people around me. They were not checking for me. Of course, we're all kids. What do we know? But I was always on the outside looking in, wondering, where do I fit in? Why don't I fit in? What is it going to take for me to fit in? It wasn't for years later. I'm about to be 46. I think it was at 40, 38 at the earliest. Because this journey's been 17 years and there's layers to this. Honey, 38, it began to hit me. I was still trying to fit into the church world. That wasn't working for me. I was still trying to fit in what they wanted for me in corporate America and what everybody wanted. I was trying to fit in, and I can't fit in. Right. And Mr. Vera, I was doing all the things. I got all the education you told me to get. I got that. I wore my hair straight. I got that. I spoke correctly. I did everything you told me to, but I did not feel like JoJo. I did not fit in. And I was always on the outside looking in. I was always trying to insert myself into a conversation because I wanted to be included, not because they included me. And I had to come to the understanding first. I wasn't meant to fit in. It's okay. I make my own lane. You're going to get the whole experience of JoJo. However I define that, right? That's for me to define. And I had to understand that it's not their job to understand me. That's my job to understand me and then make sure I communicate that correctly. It's been 2 years ago, we talked about communication. Sometimes we communicate the right things to the wrong people. Sometimes we communicate the wrong thing to the right people. Oftentimes we are communicating all the wrong things to ourselves. So when we open up our mouth, stupid falls out. So when I learned to communicate effectively with JoJo, then I was able to articulate my wants, my needs, and where I knew I could fit in, or how I stood, or how I complimented where you were. Because if we're honest, we compliment people. Right, Miss Rivera? Why fit in? Right, Joshua? I'm different. Y'all remember that what's that commercial? It's a hot dog commercial. I'm different. Don't care who knows it. Is that hot dog or bologna? Something about me, not the same. Y'all remember that commercial? Anyway, that's who I am. I don't want to. Me trying to fit in had me using my middle name to get a job. Because I knew young Mitra was not going to get a job. Because my name was different. My name made me a misfit. So it was almost like I was embarrassed to use my name. So then I used Louise. Louise could get all kinds of job interviews. All I did was change my name on my application. I didn't change my education. I changed nothing else. I used my middle name. And then when I was using that, I felt so bad because I was like, but this ain't who I am either. This shit is hard. Like, I don't want to use my name because that don't fit in. Well, I'm using a name that fits in and that don't fit. Let me just go on about my business and be Yamitra JoJo. How about that? Because that's who I am. So I always found myself on the outside looking in, right? I always found myself trying to fix something so that I accommodate somebody else. So that remember we talked about people pleasing, that we always want people to be our friends. And this is because we are looking for them to accept us and not reject us when we've already rejected ourselves. I've already rejected me, and me trying to accommodate you, I just rejected myself. So it doesn't matter what you're going to give me. It doesn't matter if you call me Louise. It doesn't matter if you call me Dr. Waddell. None of it will matter because I already rejected myself because I assumed I had to change in order to fit in with you. And you don't have to do that. So I was the misfit. When I go back and look, and my kids at the top, Mommy, how was high school? And I can tell you good stories about high school, but I never found where I fit in. I can tell you some great stories about college. Never found where you know where I fit in? When I was in a leadership position. But then I didn't want to be a true leader because I didn't want my friends to think a certain type of way. I didn't want them to think, oh, here go JoJo, think she can tell somebody something. But who you really are, friend, is going to show up every day, no matter how hard you try to fight it. If you are a feisty person, honey, feisty is going to show up in your mouth. It's going to show up in how you walk. It's going to show up when you become passionate about something. If you are a natural leader, you can't not lead. It's going to show up. I tried. Insert me being senior class president in college. The only black one, I went to a predominantly white school. And then so the few blacks that was there, I made sure we were all on the cabinet of the senior class. Then I showed out and got kicked out a couple of meetings because I figured I'm going to go all out. Honey, be who you supposed to be. Period. If you're outside looking in, maybe you need to be inside looking out, meaning you need to take a trip on the inside of you to figure out who and what and why. And now the outside part makes sense. As long as I was afraid to use Yamitra, as long as I was afraid to, Louise didn't fit, Yamitra didn't fit. Oh, you can call me JoJo. And then they looking at me like, but you're a professional. Why would I call you that? Because I was still accommodating people, because when they saw my name, they was like, Jan, Jana Mitra. Now I correct you with no problem. I help you. I don't accommodate you by assuming that you can't say my name. I assume that you're an adult and you can open your mouth and say my name. But it took me being on the inside first, looking out, instead on the outside looking in, trying to figure that thing out. So when you don't fit in, maybe that is absolutely for a reason. You don't fit in because you were not made to. All of us are different. We're all different. We all communicate, speak, talk. Remember we talked about holding hands with strangers yesterday? We had that common thread. But in that common thread, all of us are an individual person, but we're choosing at that moment to connect as humans, to know that we have a common goal and or belief. If you just don't understand why you're not fitting in, why you can't go to lunch with everybody, all the other women that go to lunch, they don't ever think to ask you. One for you to go. All your other friends, they do things and go on trips. They don't ever call you, JoJo, and ask you. It wasn't meant for you to go. Because you don't, other people know you don't fit in there. You just don't know it. And you're trying to insert yourself into something that doesn't concern you. Insert your attitude, your frustration. Because you're outside looking in, assuming they're doing something that you would like to do, but you don't understand it because you're not in it. So you need to be inside of yourself. Y'all with me with that? Right, Joshua. We all on a different frequency. We all speak a different language. But if I take a moment to go inside, become comfortable with JoJo, become comfortable with being the only live past crazy special, being comfortable with hitting that live button. When I become comfortable with who I am, I'm now on the inside looking out. And I know that I'm different, and that's okay. It's not meant to bombard anybody. It's not meant to hurt anybody. It is meant for me to find that other stranger I'm supposed to hold hands with. Go back and watch yesterday's show. So on this lovely day, if you feel like you are a misfit and you don't fit in, right? And all the things are not working for you. Could it be you're trying to fit into something that's not for you? It ain't for you. You don't quite know why it's not for you. But you keep trying to insert yourself. Y'all, all through college, that was me. All through college, that was me. That was me through a couple of marriages. Trying to insert myself where, honey, I did not belong. Trying to accommodate something that did not fit me. Again, that is you know that block of your old school, that block that had all the shapes on it, and then you had to try to fit the shape. And so here I am trying to put a spear into a triangle, and I am shaving away at the edges on both ends. And I wonder why I'm frustrated, because I didn't fit there. If I had turned it over and saw my real shape, who I really was, I would have fit easily into the triangle, into the spear. It would have been no problem. And we can look at that like life. Like, This is a block. This life is an ever evolving, changing thing. And you're just trying to find where you fit in at. Right. Oh, Miss Rivera, honey, come through, sister. Because let me tell you, I'm in the same boat. In the same boat. My passion ain't your passion. I can't listen. I can fake it till I make it. Meaning I can make it fit where you want me to be, but it's gonna come bubbling out. It's gonna come bubbling out, and then you're gonna look at me like I'm crazy. It is so hard to push it down when we're living. I've been living here. I don't want to push it down. That stifles me. That irritates me. It makes me angry, and then I want to cuss. Like, why am I even, JoJo, doing this? This is stupid. Because I assume I have to. Absolutely. Listen, Joshua, absolutely. So on this most amazing day, and it's going to be a good day, who JoJo is, right? Who I am. It's hard to define it inside of other people's boxes. Good morning, D. Who I am, it's hard to it's hard to shape that up. You know how in kindergarten you learn to color in the box? I want to color outside all the lines. Because I'm spilling out and I'm running over. I'm all the things. And I'm all the colors. And it is a beautiful picture. And that, my friend, is why we have a difficult time fitting in. That's why we may be called a misfit or a quandrum. I had one lady tell me, she said, Louise, you're a quandrum for us. What does that mean? And it was in that moment that I understood. I'm on the outside looking in. I didn't fit there. It wasn't meant for me to fit. And like Miss Rivera just said, it's hard to condense my passion. I couldn't condense it anymore. It was going to bump up against somebody in the form of let me lay hands. Because I didn't fit there. I was on the outside looking in. And the moment I understood that is the moment I understood I was trying to communicate the right thing to the wrong person. Maybe that's you in your career. You're trying to communicate the right thing to the wrong position. You're trying to communicate the right thing to the wrong title, the wrong organization, the wrong career path. Maybe that's it. Right, Joshua? Everybody can't fit in this frame. And I have to be mindful of the internal picture I'm taking. So I need to go inside and look out first. It's when you don't fit in. And JoJo has been there so unbelievably many times where I've just been let me tell you, I've been in rooms where I'm just sitting there like this as a grown woman looking, because there's not a conversation I fit into. There's not a group of people I connect with. It's just, I'm sitting there because I'm on the outside looking in. And I'm trying to communicate something that's not understood to the outside. I've had those awkward times where I've been in a group of ladies and everybody's talking at the table, or we're standing in a group of 4 or 5 and everybody's talking and they don't talk to me. I've had them where they turn their back to me to have a separate conversation because my words didn't fit their words. Which brings us back to the quote. Oftentimes, our so-called strength comes from fear and not love. Right, Joshua? Instead of having a strong back, many of us have a front shielding weak spine. We're trying to conceal our lack of confidence. And I've had so many, Jojo, why are you? Why are you standing here? Why are you? And the moment I begin to ask that question is the moment I left those groups of people, of conversations that didn't serve me, to find one that did. And when I did, there was no pretense of who JoJo was. Young Mitra came forth. JoJo came forth. There was no, let me fit into this. So this morning, it's okay to be a misfit. It's okay if you find yourself on the outside looking in. Today, I want you to take a step on the inside and look out. What happens when you don't fit in? What happens when you do more damage by living small than you do by living great? When you insist on, as Ms. Rivera says, condensing your passion, when you push it down, it starts to ooze out of your ears. It will bust open. And people are going to wonder, why did you explode? Well, you exploded because you were trying to insist that you were not great. And the minute you insist that you're not great is the minute you affect everybody around you. All of those who look for you for guidance and protection is at risk when you do not realize how great you are. And it's hard, friend. It's hard to keep pushing and shoving yourself down. That's the hard part. Living free is the easy part, because now you freeform yourself. When you're trying to live less than and assume that you're not great, you're trying to push and shove and compact yourself. And there's too much of you to put into a square or a circle or the triangle. You're the whole damn box. So on this lovely day, I don't want you to assume that you're not great. I want you to take it all and know that you can be. It's easier to live great than it is to push and force it down. Be you, honey, in the most natural form of you that you can be. And if you don't understand what that form is because you assume you got to fit, this is me. I assume I had to fit into corporate America. I assumed I had to fit into this. I assumed I had to parent my kids a certain way. I assumed I had to date a certain man. I assumed I had to marry a certain way. And the minute I let go of everybody else's preconceived notions and ideas about my life is the moment I was inside looking out and I understood where I fit. I was no longer a misfit. I was young Mitra JoJo Waddell, the only Live Past Crazy specialist. I knew that without a shadow of a doubt. And I understood it. And I realized I didn't have to fit in. I was in. I was it. It was me. And I was all the things. So on this most amazing day, I want you guys to have a great day. If you would like a copy of the Fearless Morning Show notebook, please make sure you grab it. It is a digital copy, so you can print it out yourself. You can take your own thought, quote of the day, take your own notes, and there's space in you for there to write it. You will get a free copy of my personal notes for the month of March. If you've not signed up for Sister Rise, and you say, well, I can't afford to come this year, you want to go next year, please make sure you go to livepastcrazy.com and get on the mailing list so that you can make sure that you can. I'm thinking about doing a wait list for 2022 already. Or if you want to start paying on it for 2022, you can. So we have 8 tickets left for this year. It's going to be the most amazing day ever. Okay? It is going to be the most amazing day. And if there's any other things you would like to know about JoJo, you can check out this link. There are books and courses that are sitting there that you're free to take as well. But more importantly, y'all, as you share the show, and I greatly appreciate you, I want you to take the time today to find out, where have you been struggling to fit in? Where have you been fighting every single day to fit in? Where is that? And at that point, I want you to take the time on this wonderful Thursday. What better day than today? I want you to take that time today to go on the inside and look out. Why are you insisting on fitting in here? Why is it important? Who told you it was important? Is it important to you, or is it important to somebody else? Are you doing this for, what's your end goal result? What do you hope to see? All right, Joshua. Honey, right on. I ain't wrote a poem in a minute. But on this lovely day. Okay, Joshua, I can't wait to read it. I want you guys to have the most amazing day ever. I want you to be peaceful, period, because there's nothing after that, okay? I want you to do and be all the things that you can be today. You don't have to fit in. You can hold hands with a stranger who understands that you can't live another day trying to fit in. That shit is exhausting. It eats at your soul. You get in your car and you sit at your desk and you think, why the hell am I? Why am I here? Lord, why? Can you tell me why I'm doing this? Been there and done that. So hold hands with a stranger today. That's me. I'm going to hold space for you today so that you don't have to fit in anywhere you don't want to fit in. You have today. Today is your moment. The next few minutes, honey, taken to 8:15 to figure out why are you trying to fit in. And then color outside that line. And let me know how you feel. Let me know how that works out for you. So on this most amazing day, I want y'all to have a great day. Please make sure you share the show because sharing is caring. If your friends and family don't have Facebook, send them to the YouTube channel where they can binge watch and subscribe to the show or the podcast. Make sure you subscribe to that so they get a notification every time. So I hope you have a great day. And I'll see you guys here bright and early tomorrow morning.